Princess Anne had a pretty clear idea that Meghan wouldn't stick around in the spotlight of the British monarchy for long. Known for her famously straightforward nature, Anne's no-nonsense attitude has always been respected in royal circles. However, her strong dislike for Meghan Markle caught everyone off guard. Behind all the polished royal appearances, there was some serious tension from the moment Meghan joined the family. Their first meeting made it crystal clear that Anne had serious reservations about the Duchess of Sussex. So what led this traditionally tough royal to form such a strong opinion? Why does Princess Anne seem to have it in for Meghan? Well, it goes beyond just personal differences. It's more about a clash of personalities, values, and royal expectations, which culminated in Anne's infamous claim that Meghan is a liar. When they first met, it was a bit awkward. Princess Anne, a longtime champion of royal traditions and values, has always taken her duties seriously. She's known for working her socks off, often taking on more royal engagements than many of her family members. So when she met Meghan, who had just joined the royal scene through her engagement to Prince Harry, the tone was already set for a strained relationship. From the start, it was clear Anne was skeptical. Reports say she wasn't impressed by Meghan's background as an actress, or her lack of experience with royal life. To Anne, being part of the royal family wasn't about glitz and glamour. It was all about service and sacrifice. Having dedicated her life to the less glamorous side of royal duties, Princess Anne truly values hard work and dedication above all else. In stark contrast, Meghan came from the Hollywood scene, where media attention and personal branding are part of everyday life. This difference in backgrounds created an instant divide between the two women. Princess Anne didn't hold back when it came to giving Meghan advice about her new role in the royal family. According to insiders, Anne made it clear that being royal wasn't about chasing fame or personal accolades. It was a job that came with serious responsibilities. Her advice to Meghan was straightforward: duty comes first, and celebrity comes second. True to her style, Anne's words were blunt and left little room for misunderstanding. You could tell Meghan felt uncomfortable right away. She had entered the royal family with a vision of using her new platform to promote causes that mattered to her. However, she wasn't ready for the strict royal rules that Anne emphasized. Even though Meghan had a strong public presence as a well-known actress and social justice advocate before marrying into the family, she thought this experience would help her navigate royal life. In her mind, being a royal could allow her to merge her passion for humanitarian work with a modern, relatable approach to royalty. But for Princess Anne, Meghan's vision seemed out of touch with what royal life was all about. Anne saw Meghan's excitement for global attention and the media spotlight as clashing with the royal family's long-standing belief in quietly serving others. This fundamental difference in how Princess Anne and Meghan viewed royal life really lay at the heart of their rocky relationship. Meghan reportedly struggled with Anne's straightforwardness. She was used to the polished interactions of Hollywood and the encouraging vibe of her activist circles. Meghan wasn't ready for the unfiltered truth that Princess Anne laid down. While Anne's advice was based on years of experience, Meghan felt that it didn't take into account her unique situation as a biracial woman, stepping into a very traditional and often rigid institution. Meghan believed her fresh perspective could bring positive change to the monarchy, while Anne thought she didn't quite grasp the serious responsibilities that came with being royal. This initial encounter only added to the tension between them. Anne felt Meghan wasn't prepared to handle the weight of royal duties, while Meghan saw Anne's attitude as dismissive of her strengths. As Meghan aimed to carve out her own space within the monarchy and resisted conforming to the strict rules that Anne lived by, the divide only grew deeper. Over time, this first clash evolved into a more public conflict, with Anne's sharp criticisms and Meghan's modern approach colliding at every turn. Anne's advice boiled down to the idea that the royal family's purpose is to serve, not seek the spotlight. To her, being royal meant doing charitable work, attending official engagements, and maintaining the long-standing traditions of the monarchy. Public service, not personal fame, was the core of this role. While her message was likely well-meaning, it came across with Anne's typical bluntness, which may not have been the best way to connect with Meghan. For Princess Anne, there was simply no wiggle room when it came to how royal life should be conducted. She believed that joining the royal family came with its own set of rules, and that was just how it was. Meanwhile, Meghan saw her new role as an amazing opportunity to spread her influence and carry on her humanitarian work on a bigger stage. She wanted to modernize the monarchy, reach fresh audiences, and tackle social issues in ways that hadn't been tried before. Her approach was much more forward-thinking and media-friendly. She viewed her royal title as a chance to create real, positive change. In Meghan's eyes, being royal didn't have to mean sticking to traditional duties and engagements. It could actually be a way to make a greater impact. But this outlook rubbed Princess Anne the wrong way. Anne worried that Meghan was treating her royal role more like a celebrity gig rather than a serious job. Anne was known for shying away from the media and keeping her personal life private. She firmly believed that being royal shouldn't be about fame. To her, Meghan's attitude felt like everything the royal family shouldn't be. As time went by, Anne's frustration with Meghan only intensified. It seemed like Meghan cared more about her public image and personal projects than the royal responsibilities tied to her title. Meghan's focus on high-profile initiatives, media engagement, and her personal causes only added to the rising tension between the two women. As Meghan continued her work within the royal family, the gap between her and Princess Anne only widened. Meghan's participation in glossy magazine shoots, her high-profile charity work, and her Hollywood connections only fueled Anne's belief that Meghan didn't quite get the seriousness of her new role. From the very start, Princess Anne was convinced that Meghan's time in the royal family wouldn't last long. While some might see this as a harsh judgment, for Anne, it was a straightforward observation based on her years of navigating royal life. She sensed that Meghan would have a tough time adapting to the restrictions that come with being royal. To Anne, Meghan's independent spirit and celebrity status were indicators that she wouldn't stick around for long. This belief wasn't just a gut feeling. It came from Anne's deep understanding of the unique challenges and pressures that come with royal life. One of the main reasons Princess Anne believed Meghan's royal journey would be short-lived was Meghan's fiercely independent nature. Having already carved out a successful career as an actress and humanitarian before entering the royal spotlight, Meghan had her own voice and her own causes. Unlike most royals who were born into the system and prepped for their roles from a young age, Meghan stepped into the monarchy with her own established identity. While Meghan's independence is admirable in many ways, it clashes with what the royal family expects. In that world, personal desires often have to take a back seat to what's best for the crown. For Princess Anne, Meghan's independence was a double-edged sword. It was impressive, but also a potential threat. The royal family, despite evolving, is still deeply rooted in tradition, hierarchy, and sacrifice. Anne knows better than anyone that to thrive in that environment, you often have to set aside your own ambitions and focus on the thankless task of public service. Meghan's independent spirit, however, hinted that she might struggle to let go of her own narrative and fit into the strict expectations of royal life. Anne believed this could lead to a clash between Meghan's personal desires and her royal duties. Meghan's celebrity status raised red flags for Anne too. As a seasoned royal, Anne generally steered clear of the press unless absolutely necessary. In contrast, Meghan came from a background where media attention was not just accepted but celebrated. In Hollywood, fame is a powerful tool to advance careers, promote causes, and build influence. But in the royal family, fame is approached with caution. The spotlight that comes with being royal needs to be handled delicately, as any misstep can result in public backlash or harm to the royal institution. Princess Anne saw Meghan's Hollywood fame as a bit of a tricky situation. Sure, it helped Meghan grab the public's attention in no time, but it also made her a potential liability. All that media focus could spiral into dangerous levels of public interest and scandal, which Anne worried could damage the royal family's carefully crafted image. Anne's doubts about Meghan's commitment to royal life were rooted in experience. She had watched other family members struggle to juggle their personal dreams with the heavy expectations of being royal. The royal family has strict rules, and living that life demands a ton of self-sacrifice. While Anne was all in when it came to making those sacrifices, she wasn't so sure Meghan would feel the same. As Meghan tried to find her place in the royal family, Anne's concerns only seemed to grow. It became pretty clear to her that Meghan's ambitions weren't going to fit neatly within the bounds of royal duties. Instead, Anne sensed that Meghan's independent spirit would likely push her to look for a way out rather than a long-term commitment to royal life. In Anne's eyes, Meghan's time in the family felt destined to be brief. characterized by a constant tug-of-war between her personal goals and the demands of royal duty. Ultimately, Princess Anne's prediction about Meghan Markle's tenure in the royal family came true when Meghan and Prince Harry chose to step back from their roles as senior royals. Although Meghan's time in the royal spotlight was short-lived, her impact and the ensuing tensions left a lasting impression. Anne's insights, honed by her extensive experience and understanding of royal life, proved accurate in foreseeing the eventual outcome of Meghan's role within the monarchy. The fallout from the Oprah interview was particularly explosive. In March 2021, Meghan and Harry's candid revelations about their experiences within the royal family captivated audiences worldwide. Their discussion with Oprah Winfrey ignited global headlines, revealing claims of insufficient support from royal family members, particularly concerning Meghan's mental health. She also described feelings of isolation and imposed restrictions on her life. Perhaps most controversially, Meghan alleged that there had been discussions about the color of their son Archie's skin before he was born. For Princess Anne, this interview represented nothing short of a disaster, a betrayal she believed could inflict irreparable damage on the monarchy. From the moment the interview aired, the backlash was swift and fierce. Anne, who had dedicated her life to upholding the monarchy's dignity and reputation, viewed Meghan's public accusations as a direct assault on the royal family's integrity. In Anne's eyes, the line Meghan had crossed was one that should never have been breached, deepening the rift between the two women and highlighting the fundamental differences in their views on duty and personal ambition within the royal framework. The Oprah interview was more than just a candid conversation. It was seen as a calculated attempt to undermine the integrity of the monarchy. Meghan and Harry's decision to air their grievances with one of the world's most prominent talk show hosts struck Princess Anne as a betrayal of the family's trust and values. The fallout from the interview sent shockwaves through the royal family, but it was Anne's reaction that particularly resonated within palace circles. Reports from palace insiders indicated that Anne was outraged by Meghan's allegations, especially those suggesting that the royal family was uncaring and, more critically, racist. For Anne, the monarchy had always been a force for good, and Meghan's claims not only challenged this perception, but also threatened to tarnish the institution that Anne had devoted her life to safeguarding. It was during this tumultuous time that Anne reportedly uttered the now infamous phrase, "She is a liar," encapsulating her frustration and disbelief at Meghan's assertions. The context of the interview further compounded Anne's ire. The royal family was already under significant public scrutiny, grappling with the repercussions of Prince Andrew's scandals and the ongoing debates about the monarchy's relevance in the modern world. In this fragile atmosphere, Meghan and Harry's revelations felt like an unforgivable breach of loyalty to Anne. Anne's response underscored the generational divide between her and Meghan. Raised in an era where discretion and duty took precedence over personal feelings, Anne found it difficult to reconcile Meghan's more modern approach, which prioritized personal narrative and public perception. This clash of values highlighted the broader challenges facing the royal family as it sought to navigate the complexities of contemporary life while upholding its traditions. Meghan, a modern woman with a Hollywood background, was accustomed to openness and transparency. Her decision to publicly address her struggles starkly contrasted with how Princess Anne had managed her own challenges within the family. For Anne, using media as a platform to express personal discontent was not only inappropriate, but also unthinkable. The expectations of the monarchy clashed with Meghan's reality. Having spent years cultivating her public identity, championing causes she was passionate about, and adeptly navigating the media landscape, Meghan entered the royal family with the belief that she could leverage her position for meaningful social progress. Her experiences in Hollywood taught her to harness the power of her voice and platform to create change. However, the British monarchy operates on a fundamentally different set of principles. At its core, the royal family embodies a collective duty to the crown rather than individualism. Members are expected to be visible yet restrained, carrying out their public duties while avoiding drawing attention to their personal lives. This delicate balance is vital for the monarchy's survival, ensuring that the family remains above the fray of politics and personal controversy. Princess Anne prides herself on her unwavering commitment to public service, often undertaking more engagements than any other royal. Yet her rigid adherence to traditional values put her in direct conflict with Meghan's more modern and activist approach to royal life. Meghan's desire to engage with the media on her own terms and her focus on issues like social justice and equality struck Anne as a departure from the royal family's carefully curated public image. This fundamental difference in philosophy and approach not only fueled tensions between the two women, but also underscored the challenges the monarchy faced in adapting to a rapidly changing world. While Princess Anne recognized the importance of charity work and advocating for significant causes, she believed these efforts should align with royal tradition, conducted discreetly and without overshadowing the monarchy itself. In contrast, Meghan's approach, often involving high-profile media appearances and personal interviews, seemed to Anne like an attempt to reshape the royal platform into something more individualistic. This cultural and traditional clash came to a head in several instances, notably in Meghan's advocacy for gender equality and her involvement in feminist causes. While these issues were undeniably important and aligned with broader societal progress, they conflicted with the monarchy's traditional stance of remaining above political and social debates. Meghan's decision to publicly address these topics, often through prominent events and extensive media coverage, made Anne uncomfortable. It blurred the lines between royal duty and personal activism, and Anne viewed Meghan's bold public-facing approach as too aggressive for the royal family's more reserved and neutral position. As it became evident that Meghan was unwilling to fully conform to the monarchy's expectations, Anne's frustration grew. She perceived Meghan's actions as disrespectful to the institution that had been central to her life and service. Anne's concerns were further amplified by the discussion of a slimmed-down monarchy, an idea championed by Prince Charles even before he ascended the throne. This vision aimed to modernize the monarchy by focusing on a core group of senior royals, making it more cost-effective and adaptable to a changing world. However, Anne harbored serious doubts about this plan, particularly in light of Meghan and Harry's high-profile departure. She believed that the royal family's strength lies in its broad support system, with numerous family members sharing the burden of public engagements and duties. The idea of a more streamlined monarchy raised alarms for Anne, as she felt it could compromise the family's ability to fulfill its obligations and maintain its relevance in contemporary society. The tension between tradition and modernization, coupled with the unique challenges posed by Meghan's approach, painted a complex picture of the royal family's future and the dynamics within it. Over the years, Anne had become quite the superstar when it came to the number of royal events she attended each year. To her, every royal, whether a senior member or a more distant cousin, played an important part in keeping the monarchy connected to the public. In her eyes, having a smaller royal family could mean losing that vital support network. When Meghan and Harry decided to step back from their royal duties, Anne's worries about the future of the monarchy only grew stronger. Their exit created a noticeable gap in the family structure, especially since many saw them as the next generation to carry the monarchy forward. For Anne, their decision wasn't just a personal choice. It was a sign of how fragile the family's future really was. With fewer royals around to handle the official duties, she was concerned that the monarchy might get stretched too thin. Public expectations for royal visibility and service were still sky-high. Anne's doubts about a slimmer monarchy tied into her bigger fears about how relevant the institution could be in a rapidly changing world. She worried that Charles's plan for a smaller royal family might strip away some of the monarchy's significance and historical weight. Could a smaller crew of senior royals really keep up with all the public duties, charity work, and international relations that had been crucial to the family's role for centuries? In her opinion, while a more streamlined monarchy might look trendy, it risked shaking the solid foundation that had supported the institution for generations. Meghan and Harry's choice to leave really ramped up Anne's worries. Their departure hinted at a possible shift in how the public viewed the monarchy. For years, the younger royals, including Meghan and Harry, had brought a breath of fresh air to the institution, making it feel more relatable and modern. With them gone, Anne feared that the monarchy might struggle to stay relevant with younger generations, especially since opinions about the royal family had become so mixed. Anne was also concerned about how their exit looked from the outside. The way Meghan and Harry left was all over the media, and it put the royal family under a magnifying glass. This media frenzy only made Anne more anxious as she felt it showed how vulnerable the monarchy was to outside pressures. She believed the strength of the family lay in its ability to stick together and avoid public spats. But the split between Meghan, Harry, and the family felt like the opposite of that. To Anne, the future of the monarchy depended on unity and continuity, and this departure disrupted that flow. She worried it could weaken the monarchy's status both at home and abroad. Princess Anne's doubts about the idea of a slimmer monarchy were closely linked to Meghan and Harry's exit. For her, who had always prioritized duty over personal goals, their leaving served as a wake-up call. It reminded her that despite its long history, the royal family wasn't immune to internal conflicts and outside pressures. In the end, Anne was left pondering a big question. Could the monarchy not just survive, but thrive with fewer royals around to uphold its traditions and connect with the people? Anne's push to evict Meghan and Harry from Frogmore Cottage was a major moment in their ongoing drama with the royal family, and she had a big hand in making it happen. While a lot of the public's attention was on King Charles as he took the throne, it was Anne's quiet but firm influence behind the scenes that really shaped the decision to kick them out of the royal property. For Anne, this eviction wasn't just about reasserting the monarchy's authority. It was also about protecting the future of the royal institution itself. Frogmore Cottage, located on the Windsor estate, was gifted to Meghan and Harry by Queen Elizabeth II when they tied the knot in 2018. After splurging millions on renovations, they had envisioned it as their family home. But after stepping back from royal duties and moving to the US, their claim to Frogmore became a hot topic within the royal family. In Anne's eyes, once Meghan and Harry distanced themselves from royal life and started sharing their side of the story, especially in Harry's explosive memoir Spare, it was clear they didn't deserve to keep such a prestigious residence. The book revealed personal struggles and accusations of dysfunction within the family, reigniting tensions and putting the monarchy in the spotlight. For Anne, the revelations in the book crossed a line that couldn't be overlooked. She saw Meghan and Harry's public airing of grievances as a direct hit on the family, and keeping them associated with royal property like Frogmore only added to the damage being done behind closed doors. Princess Anne reportedly urged King Charles to take decisive action regarding Meghan and Harry, especially since he had been leaning towards a more lenient approach. Anne's strong belief that the monarchy needed to reassert its authority played a crucial role in shaping his final decision. In her view, allowing Meghan and Harry to keep Frogmore Cottage would send the wrong message, implying leniency towards those who no longer fulfilled their royal duties. For Anne, the reasoning behind the eviction was rooted in her respect for royal traditions. She saw the monarchy as an institution that had weathered many storms thanks to its ability to maintain continuity and stability. Letting Meghan and Harry keep Frogmore after they had so openly distanced themselves from royal life, especially after Harry spilled family secrets in his memoir, undermined the unity and discretion she felt were vital for the monarchy's survival. To Anne, this eviction wasn't just about the property. It was about drawing a clear line between those who truly committed to the royal family's values and those who didn't. While it might seem like Anne has it out for Meghan, her motivations run deeper than personal grievances. She's focused on safeguarding the legacy and future of the monarchy itself. Let's also review Camilla, the Queen Consort, and her friendship with Princess Anne. It's a pretty intriguing story. Their bond has really shifted over the years, mainly because of a bunch of personal and royal dramas getting in the way. You see, back in the day, the whole situation with Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's ex, and Anne stirred up some tension between the two women. There was even that rumored comment Anne made during a coronation dinner, which showed just how tricky things were for them at first. But here's the scoop. As Camilla has stepped up her game with King Charles, it seems like they're starting to figure things out and respect each other more. Royal family relationships are rarely straightforward. They're shaped by everyone's past experiences and their shifting roles in the monarchy. What's really fascinating is how their personal and public lives intertwine in the royal world. It highlights how history, personal connections, and what the public thinks all weave into the complicated fabric of royal life. The friendship between Princess Anne and Camilla Parker Bowles is definitely one of the more tangled and captivating ones in the royal circle. Back in the 70s, there was this whole love triangle situation with Andrew Parker Bowles involving both Anne and Camilla, which kicked off a lot of emotional drama that impacted their interactions for ages. When Anne first had a crush on Andrew and then watched him tie the knot with Camilla, It created a real mix of feelings for her. Things got even more heated when Camilla married Prince Charles, Anne's own brother, and became the Duchess of Cornwall. Talk about complicated things. So there's a story going around that during a coronation dinner, Anne mentioned that Camilla would never really be seen as the true queen. That pretty much sums up the deep-rooted issues they've had between them. It just goes to show how personal histories and royal duties can sometimes clash and mess with how family members get along. But here's the twist. As Camilla settled into her role as queen consort, things between them started to improve. It's like their relationship grew over time. Anne seems to have finally accepted Camilla, and the public feuds have calmed down. This shift is part of the bigger picture of how the royal family constantly changes and adapts. The ups and downs of Anne and Camilla's relationship highlight how royal dynamics can evolve over time. It all comes down to personal growth and the ever-shifting roles within the monarchy. This journey really shows how you've got to be flexible and resilient to navigate the tricky world of royal life. There's another story about Princess Anne you might like. Back in December 2019, Buckingham Palace hosted a NATO summit to celebrate the alliance's 70th anniversary, and it was a star-studded affair. Heads of state and other big names gathered for the event, including Donald Trump and Melania Trump. The atmosphere was buzzing with excitement, and all eyes were on the royals as they welcomed their guests. Now, amidst all the formality and high-profile guests, Princess Anne had a moment that would go down in the books. While her mother, Queen Elizabeth II, was busy shaking hands and chatting with the Trump family, Anne stood off to the side, seemingly unfazed by the grandeur of it all. The Queen, ever the gracious host, gave Anne a quick glance, almost like a nudge saying, "Get in line with the rest." But what did Anne do? Instead of dutifully stepping forward, she shrugged her shoulders, flashed a cheeky smile, and made a little gesture towards the other important figures, as if to say, "Nah, I think I'll pass. It's just me here." That simple shrug and playful demeanor became the talk of the event. Many people interpreted this moment as a humorous critique of the occasion's stuffiness, or even a playful jab at Trump himself. It was a little act of defiance that captured the hearts of many and quickly went viral. The internet erupted with memes and comments, turning Anne into a relatable royal figure who wasn't afraid to break from the royal protocol. People loved the idea of a princess who could be both polished and down-to-earth, and her actions sparked a flurry of online chatter. Some even dubbed her the coolest royal, highlighting her ability to keep things real amidst the formalities. However, as often happens with viral moments, the full story got a bit lost in translation. According to Laura Stone of the Press Association, the Queen wasn't giving Anne the royal side-eye for any rebellious behavior. Instead, she was just trying to figure out who was next in line to meet her after Trump, who, fun fact, was the last in the queue. So, the whole interaction was more about logistics than a royal snub. Princess Anne is known for her candidness and straightforwardness, traits that have earned her a reputation for being refreshingly honest. But this can sometimes lead to misunderstandings, especially in tense situations where every glance and gesture is scrutinized. Her straightforward nature has often been a double-edged sword. While it makes her approachable, it can also make her the target of misinterpretations. In royal circles where decorum and politeness reign supreme, Anne's laid-back attitude is a breath of fresh air. She's not just another royal. She's known for rolling up her sleeves and getting stuck in. Whether it's her charity work or simply being a strong advocate for issues close to her heart, this blend of charm and down-to-earth personality resonates with the public, making her one of the more relatable members of the royal family. So the incident at the NATO summit was a classic example of how moments can be taken out of context, especially in the age of social media. What started as a playful exchange quickly turned into a media frenzy, showcasing how even royals can have their awkward moments. In the end, Princess Anne's shrug became a symbol of her personality, a blend of humor, resilience, and a touch of royal mischief. Her ability to stay true to herself, even in the midst of grandeur, is a reminder that behind the crowns and tiaras there are real people with real feelings. And let's be honest, who wouldn't love to see a bit more of that kind of authenticity in the royal family? What do you think? Were the struggles to fit into the royal family simply a clash of backgrounds, or was there more to it? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. For now, though, we're signing off. Hope to see you in the next video.